Hello, YouTube. I am HUD, and I like to do stuff. What am I doing today? Well, today I'm making a bike frame bag from scratch. Why are you making it from scratch? Well, this summer I plan on doing a 5-day bike trip, and if you saw my last video, you might have noticed that my bike situation was, well, embarrassing. So I'm busting my bikes out of bike prison to take some measurements. I have two bikes because the light blue one actually I used for like 7 years, almost every day, and it kind of catastrophically failed on me. I had a bunch of components kind of just break all at once. And by using it every day, it made more sense just to kind of replace everything, which made more financial sense at the time. So here I am taking measurements of the top bar, the stem, and the bottom bar. And that'll make it a custom fit for that triangular space. And that's the main reason I wanted to make this from scratch, is that buying one of these bags, a custom fit for your bike, is like $200. And I knew I could do it for less. I'm measuring here in centimeters because I can get a bit more precision with the smaller increments on the measuring tape, instead of using inches. You'll see later that I do eventually switch to inches for smaller whole numbers. And back to prison they go. So I just quickly came up with a design. I wanted it to be a roll top bag, so just a big wide opening that rolls up, and it was going to have two sides and one bottom piece. And the longer side was going to fold over to become the top of the bag after it's rolled up. So I'm just taping together two pieces of packing paper to draw up my pattern, cut it out, and then use as a template to cut the fabric out of. I realized that the triangle in the bike frame is not actually a 90-degree triangle. So here I'm adjusting that angle so that all the measurements match up perfectly. Just sketching in the fold lines here, which will be apparent later. I'm going to make one pattern for both sides of the bag. As you can see, if I fold this side up, I can then have the smaller side. So it's just one pattern piece for both sides. And here I am making the bottom piece, which is basically just a big rectangle. The extra lines are for seam allowance. Quick little test fit. Perfect. Marvelous. Look at that. Perfect. It's going to be fantastic. So then head to your local store, sewing store, Notion store, whatever you want to call it. Picked up some ripstop nylon. Picked up some webbing. Some Velcro. Velcro? There it is. Lots of Velcro just in case, and some strap buckles. And that cost me $26, so take that $200 bag. Here I am using the world's fanciest pins, 10-pound weights. I really just didn't want to poke extra holes into the fabric, which is relatively water resistant, so I used it to help cut out the pattern. And here I am measuring out the webbing to see where I want to put the buckles for the roll-down straps. Very precise. Same precise measurements here, very accurate, just lining up where I think things should fit. Now, same precision, measuring out the top piece. Now measuring out the Velcro used to strap it to the frame. Taking measurements of the tubes on both bikes, I decided 4.5 inches for the hook side and the loop side would be able to cover most any part of the frame on both bikes, and probably any bikes in the future. Here I'm using the webbing as a reference and just attaching the two halves together to form the pieces that I need. Now I'm busting out the Synctronic 1229. Sounds like a 90s techno group. First thing I'm going to stitch up is the buckles to the straps. And these dollar store pins really holding them up. Very precise here. Everything must be perfect. Here I'm going to make an X pattern to attach both sides of the Velcro together. And do that total of 8 times, 9 times, something like that. You can see the X pattern here, just to hold them together. When I attach those and this to the webbing, it's going to look like a box stitch, which is that X with a square all the way around it. Cross one way, down one side, cross the bottom, back up, now doing one cross, and the other. Voila, the box stitch. Now you see it on both. I just want to measure out, I think it was originally planning to have 4 straps at the top because that would be holding most of the weight. And then just with spacing, I was like, nah. And here I am stitching the Velcro to the webbing. As you can see there, it does end up being a box stitch. Now the webbing to the material. Now attaching the bottom to one of the sides. Now I'm flipping the bottom over to the longer side because that'll form the top of the bag. And I'm just lining it up and marking where the webbing is so that when I sew the webbing onto the top of the bag, it'll line up with itself together. Here I am trying to stitch the top bit of webbing on. And then I realize there's no more bottom thread. Gotta fill her up. Back in business. And now I'm stitching the sides to the bottom of the bag to form the top of the bag. Yeah, that works. Now I'm just folding over the tops of the roll down part of the bag. And as you can see, I added a bit of Velcro to seal it up. And I'm just kind of tidying it up so it looks like a nice thing. Sewing isn't my forte, I just know how to use a machine somehow and like to put stuff together. And here I am stitching the second side on to hopefully finish up this bag. I'm going to flip it inside out to see how bad it is. And I'm so pleasantly surprised. There you can see the one side actually formed the top of the bag, and there's the roll down part. Now time to bust the bikes out of prison again and give it a test fit. My bike has a bike lock on it, so I won't be attaching the middle of the bottom of Velcros. I'll be moving that when I actually use the bag for a trip. Give it a little test here with my sweatshirt. See the roll down, and then the straps. I am so happy and pleased how it turned out, and the color choice was just luck. That was the only color of that fabric they had. Thanks for watching. What should I do next?